If you're looking for some knitting inspiration, then this video is for you. Hi everyone, welcome back to Chatty Wallflower. My name is Saba and I'm happy to have you here. So I was looking for some knitting inspiration in 2023 and I found 10 patterns that I think are worth sharing with everyone. I usually don't plan my knitting based on season. That's mostly because I'm too slow to knit in the season. I much rather prefer to plan for the whole year and have a list of patterns that I will potentially like to knit, and that for me takes off the stress of having to finish a piece by a certain season. So that's how I prefer to do it, and that's why the 10 patterns I picked for today, they range from spring to winter. Of course, with the lighter garments, you can always layer them up and style them to fit the season. So grab yourself a cozy beverage if you want to. I am going with good old English tea. I love it. It has cardamom and just hits the spot. Grab your project, whatever you're working on, whether it's knitting, crocheting, sewing, or something completely different, and let's get started. So the first pattern that I have is Wrapped Up in Cables by Knitatude, and the designer's name is Chantal. I hope I'm saying her name right. She released this pattern in May of 2021. Aside from this pattern, all the other designs that I chose for today, they have been released in 2022, so they are all less than a year old and relatively new. This is a scarf slash sweater, kind of like an infinity scarf, but with sleeves. And I personally think it will be more interesting as a sweater. You can kind of dress up your regular jeans and t-shirt, or you can wear it on top of a dress. Her design has some cable and some intricate lace work in it, and to me it gives off a very cottagecore, fairy core vibe. She uses a worsted weight yarn for her project, and I was looking at my stash and I have a couple of skeins of worsted weight mohair. And I know with mohair you probably won't be able to see all the intricate lace work, but it also hides some of my mistakes if I make one. So I think this is going to be a perfect project for it. And the pattern comes in 3 sizes. It is based on chest size, so it will be forgiving if you happen to be in between sizes or are not perfectly accurate on your sizing. The next pattern that I have is more of a spring, early autumn garment, and that's the Bold Fold by Park and Knit. She released this pattern back in August, and when you look at it, it's just all about that shoulder drama. It has something very different. Park and Knit style, in my opinion, is a cross between boho, hipster, goth chic. It's a very beautiful and unique style that she has, and she brings it into her knits. This is a sleeveless top with a decent amount of positive ease, so it's going to be forgiving with sizing and if you're not quite where you should be with your gauge. She uses a worsted weight yarn for the top, and this is a very beginner friendly pattern. Although take the difficulty levels with a grain of salt, what is difficult or intermediate to me might not be quite difficult for someone else. And again, when you look at it, this is a springtime garment, like the way she styled it just by itself with a pair of jeans, but you can also wear it on top of a shirt to make it more appropriate for autumn. The next pattern that I have is the Oxford Jumper by Fabel Knitwear, and that was released back in October. She is a designer based in Norway, and her style is just very ethereal, very romantic and feminine, and I just love looking at her Instagram page. It's very aesthetically pleasing. This is a top-down sweater, and the body looks fitted with barely any positive ease, and the sample that she knitted looks pretty cropped, but with a top-down sweater you get to decide how long you want the length to be. With this specific sweater, I do think that having it be a little cropped or cut just right above your hip bones will make it more flattering. And for me, what really got me interested in the pattern were the puff sleeves. I love a good puff sleeve. One thing that I really enjoy about Fabel Knitwear as a designer is that she tries to be size inclusive, but she also acknowledges that she cannot get test knitters for larger sizes all the time. So a really nice thing that she does is that for larger sizes that haven't been test knitted yet, she offers those patterns for free to anyone who's interested. The fourth pattern that I'm going to share with you is the Chantilly cardigan by the queen of soufflés, Laura from Penrose Knits. This is another new pattern that was released in September of last year. If you're not familiar with Penrose Knits, she has a very feminine style and she's known for her soufflés. This cardigan has a little bit of positive ease around the chest area, and it has drop shoulders, and overall it has a very drapey, relaxed fit without feeling like it's just hanging off of your body. In her sample, Laura used 2 strands of fingering weight yarn, but you can just go with an Aran yarn if you don't want to invest in 2 different types of yarn. When I was looking at other people's project and how they knitted this cardigan, I saw that a decent number of people decided to have the collar in a different color or have the end of the collar in a different color. So you can have a lot of fun with the soufflé collar. You can even go with another yarn weight for the collar to kind of give it a different texture. Next one is the Pippin sweater, or is it Pippin? I don't know. I think it's Pippin by Knitwear. In my opinion, she has a very modern and sporty style and designs garments that are very good for everyday use. The sweater is a top-down raglan sweater, but that sand stitch is what's giving it a little bit of an oomph, making it different than your any typical raglan sweater. And she's also released the Pippin cardigan pattern too, if a cardigan is more up your alley. Another note about her pattern is that the collar is double folded, which in my opinion makes it look very high-end. She uses a DK weight yarn for her project, and I really appreciate that she gives you a whole bunch of alternatives if you don't necessarily want to use the exact same yarn that she uses. It's always nice when a designer gives you specific yarn alternatives for their projects, so you don't have to go through Googling and looking up for yarns that will give you the same result for specific projects. We are more than halfway there, and the sixth one is the Sporty Knit Skort by Handmade by Florence. This is an A-line skirt and it's knitted top down and in the round. The sample that she has, for me personally, it's a little too short, but you can always adjust the length of the skirt based on how you like it. This is a beginner friendly pattern, but in my opinion it can kind of lean into the intermediate level because you have this element of shorts underneath the skirt, but again, not too hard. The yarn that she uses is a DK weight yarn. In her Ravelry page, she has a style to Skort with a bralette, and a bonus thing you will get if you decide to purchase her design is a discount code for the bralette pattern. The next 2 patterns that I have for you are both designed by Lily Kate Makes, and the first one is the Abydos sweater. She's another designer with a very soft and romantic style, and the Abydos sweater also has a sister, the Abydos top, if you're looking for the same design but more of a short sleeve garment. And you can see that the star of the show is the neckline. It's so soft and unique and beautiful, and she mentions that when she was coming up with this design, she was inspired by Egyptian necklaces. I also like the bishop sleeves she has for this sweater. I think it goes in really well with the whole vibe of the sweater. This is another top-down knit, which I personally enjoy more than a bottom-up sweater or garment because it gives you a little bit more control over the length of your garment. For the material, the main body of the sweater is knitted with a DK weight yarn and mohair for the lace work. The sweater has a negative ease to it, so the one thing I would be conscious of if you're knitting this sweater is to do a gauge swatch to make sure that you are knitting the right size. And the next pattern that I have by Lily Kate is the Overt Slipover, which was released around the same time that she released the Abydos sweater. I would rate this pattern as an intermediate difficulty, and that is because there is cable, double moss stitch, and I-cord edging involved in this pattern. She uses a worsted weight yarn for this project, and a great thing about this pattern is that it allows for a lot of modifications based on your specific size. Not everyone fits into the same chests and waist size, so you can adjust the pattern to fit your specific body. And the very unique thing about this pattern is that you have the option of knitting a detachable turtleneck. I mean, how cool is that? And the last two patterns that I have for you are both designed by Irene. She is based in Taiwan, and in my opinion, her designs are minimalistic and very clean. And my daughter agrees. The first pattern of hers that I'm going to share with you is the Liana sweater, and that was released back in September. This is a top-down colorwork sweater, but in my opinion, the color work is not too in your face. Another unique design element of this short sleeve sweater is the v-neck and the collar. Maybe I'm alone in my opinion, but I don't think this is a design element that I see often. And for material, she uses a DK weight yarn, but you can use any combination of yarns that give you the same weight or same gauge if you're doing a gauge swatch. One note that I would make about Irene's patterns is that her designs are very beautiful and very elegant, and they seem to kind of lean towards intermediate to advanced level of knitting. Again, take that with a grain of salt. What is an intermediate or an advanced level for me might not necessarily be a hard design for you. And the very last pattern that I have for you is the Glint vest by Irene. This is a top-down vest, and you get this beautiful diamond pattern on the garment, and I really enjoyed how she styled the vest, both on its own and over a shirt. For the material, she uses a worsted weight yarn. Specifically, she used the Woolfolk yarn, which is fairly available in the US. And this is a cropped vest, but again, because this is a top-down pattern, you can adjust the length however you want to. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some inspiration for your 2023 knits. Let me know what your knitting plans are, and maybe share a pattern that you're going to work on or you're currently work on in the comments. I would love to see what everyone is working on. Subscribe to my channel if that's something that you would want to do and you want to see more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.